Hi, good morning everybody. I am Kim Carter. I know I'm a couple minutes early. Clear off some messages. I'm 1 minute early. So I'm just gonna wait hopefully for a couple people to pop on and then I will get started. I will say, I'll show you. We're going to dance here in a little bit. So my munchkin back there is eating her yogurt and watching some TV because that's not a bad thing every once in a while, right? So I might get distracted. Hopefully she will be content for a few minutes while I do this. But if not, hey, that's okay. And that's part of us, a lot of us being moms and working from our house is that we can do this while our kids are right here, and there's a lot of freedom and benefits that comes with that. And also I will say, I am doing this video from my kitchen table because that's pretty much where I work. I have a full office downstairs that I literally never use. Never ever use it. So I'm going to turn this spotlight off and see what this looks like real quick. Okay, I feel like that's better with just natural light and I don't have like a super shiny face. So anyway, I see that somebody's popped on. Say hi. I can't see who it is for some reason. But anyway, it is 9:01, so I want to go ahead and get started, like I said, because at least she's content for now, so hopefully it'll stay that way. But for those of you that don't know me, which is probably most of you guys, ladies, I am Kim Carter. I am one of the kind of original Wildfire Empire members with Jamie. I started coaching a couple years after Jamie, though. And let's see, I guess I've got a few things kind of bullet pointed that I want to talk about, but I'll just share my story first. Hey, Jamie, I see you on here. Excuse me. So, about me. I have now been a coach for about, I've got all these messages coming in, for about, 5.5 years. It'll be 6 years in September. And it is something that I never, ever, ever in my wildest dreams thought that I would do. And it's something that I was super skeptical about and that I thought was just honestly stupid to start with. And once I learned about it, I opened my mind. I learned about the possibility. I let myself try it out and see what happened. And I'm one of those people, I research a lot. I'm very practical about a lot of things. Sometimes I'm kind of spontaneous with stuff, but usually things are pretty calculated for me and organized and planned out. And that's just how I am. I'm very much type A, personality wise. And so this is something that I never, ever, ever thought I would do. And it has completely changed my life in all of the best ways and ways that I never expected. So my background, I was a veterinarian for, I graduated vet school in, when the heck was that? 2006, a long time ago. I did my internship right after that. And in 2000, so that was through 2007, 2008, I started working, just, in general practices, tried a bunch of them out, a few of them out. I tried equine medicine, which was my biggest passion. I'm a big time horse person. I love them still. And equine med just totally wore me out because literally I felt like a zombie all day, every day. I never slept. I never ate. Like, that's just the life of an equine vet. I was in Ocala, Florida at the time, where there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of horses, and you never stop. And that's just how it is. So I got totally burnt out on that. Switched back to small animal, came back home to Tennessee. I'm in Knoxville, by the way. Came back home, worked in the small animal practice that I kind of grew up in, like all through undergrad and vet school and that kind of thing. Was a great start. Switched to ER. I had the opportunity to work at a really good ER here in Knoxville, and I thought, I need to step out of my comfort zone and try this out and get more comfortable with emergency work because honestly, it scared living daylights out of me. Hated it. Lasted about 6 months because ER, you work overnights. Absolutely hated everything about it. And so I switched back to general practice during the day. Worked at a clinic that I was absolutely 100% miserable in. And if you're getting the point, by this point I'm thinking, okay, what the heck? Maybe veterinary medicine just is not for me because nothing has made me happy so far. Nothing has clicked, And I would see my colleagues posting about cases that they loved and how much fun they were having. And, oh, this challenging case was so fun to solve. And I'm just like, here I am, just completely stressed out about everything. I still can't eat. I can't sleep. Well, I could eat, but I couldn't sleep. I literally could not sleep. I was getting depressed. I was an emotional basket case. It just wasn't working. So then by that time, I thought, this was about 2008 that I decided this, but I'm just going to start my own practice. I was miserable where I was. My year contract was coming to an end for that year, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this leap, and I am going to start my own practice, which was kind of crazy. We get like 0 business training in vet school. Seriously, there was an elective that we could take for a business class. An elective. I didn't take it. I never wanted to own a practice, So I knew nothing about it. So I dove into a ton of research. Thank goodness my dad helped me with all of that. And I ended up starting my own practice that was actually very successful. It was a mobile practice. It was pretty cool, actually. And it was the happiest that I ever was in veterinary medicine. But I still was way more stressed out than I ever was fulfilled. And that depression, that emotional side of it just kept getting stronger and stronger, and I found myself completely disconnecting from my own emotions. And I got to the point where, and I talked to other vets about this, and we all seem to say the same thing. It's very hard emotionally to go from one client that's like, oh, happy new puppy, new kitten, super fun, lovey-dovey, cuddly, like all the happy joy stuff, right? And then your very next patient might be a patient that you've seen for, 5+ years that's going through cancer or has some terminal illness, or, there's some financial situation and they can't diagnose and treat whatever the issue may be. And, you're discussing and performing euthanasias. And it's a very hard thing to bounce back and forth and be expected to have these certain emotions during each visit, each appointment, basically. So I pretty much just turned my emotions off. And I felt like that's what I had to do every day, just to get through the day. And it hit me, and this is going somewhere, I promise. It hit me when a family member of mine was very sick, had to have a major surgery, and ended up passing away. And I remember the morning that my mom called me and told me my reaction. I was standing at my bedroom window, and it was like I was expecting the call. I knew it was, I hate to say this, but I knew it was going to happen, right? And called and told me that he had passed, and I was just like, okay. I mean, because that's life. Like, that's what happens. We knew this was a major surgery. Like, I was so practical about it. And I was like, that is not an okay response at all. This is Kinsey. That is not an okay response. That's not normal, and that's not who I want it to be. And I always, prior to going to vet school, was this really optimistic, happy-go-lucky kind of person. Here you go. You want to play with those? I'll let her play with my tabs for my notebook. So anyway, that was something that really hit me hard. All at the same time, I had 0 energy. I couldn't even make it from appointment to appointment because I was in a mobile practice, and I had my technician would drive for me so that I could do charts and stuff in between appointments. I couldn't make it from point A to point B without falling asleep. I was so exhausted, physically and mentally exhausted, and I wasn't taking care of myself at all. Whoops, it's okay. We'll get it later. Wasn't taking care of myself at all. My nutrition was horrible. I survived on caffeine. I never ate breakfast. It was just coffee, and whatever was quick to eat. Prior to vet school in my life, I always loved working out. I was always very fit. I was a dancer growing up. I was a horseback rider. I was always really active, and I had totally let all that go. And I had gained probably 10 to 15 pounds, which I know is not a big deal for a lot of people. To me, it was, and it was how that made me feel. I just didn't feel good. I didn't have confidence in myself. I saw myself in a picture at a family reunion and was just disgusted, and it was just, oh my gosh, how did I let myself get like this? And yeah, I know it wasn't that much weight, but to me it was a big deal because I had never felt like that, and realized it. So that was that gut check kind of moment for me. That was in 2013, after 5 years of owning my own practice. Do you need to get down? Get it? She's dropping stuff on the floor. I got these great little new tabs for a notebook, and she's peeling them all apart now. Lovely. Mom life, right? But anyway, so 2013, I had this realization that I finally need to take care of myself again. And that was right when T25 came out. And, and I thought, you know what? I was always a night owl. I hated getting up early. I always had to, but I hated it. I was a night owl. And so I would see these infomercials at night. And I had done Insanity, which was an older Shaun T program in the past, prepping for my wedding. And I loved it. I loved the challenge, but I didn't have 45 to 60 minutes to commit, you know? So I saw the infomercial at, like 2 a.m. for T25. And I was like, I can do that. Like, I can get home from work and commit to 25 minutes a day and get my butt back in shape and active. And that can be like my stress release. And that's what it ended up becoming for me. I would walk in the door from work, I would take my scrubs off and put my workout clothes on, and there were days that I did my workout in my nasty scrubs because I didn't feel like changing, but I got it done every single day. I think that program, you work out 6 days a week and there's like one rest day from what I remember, but I got it done and I loved it. No, you're fine. I'm just scooting you over. And I loved it, and within probably the first 2 weeks, I felt my energy really coming back. And I focused on nutrition all at the same time. Of course, I started Shakeology at the same time. I had Shakeology before for a little bit when I did Insanity. But anyway, all of that combined, like, I just felt so much better. And I would use that as like my time to focus on Shaun T and punch out my stress and my emotions and like just let loose, and let out all of my anger and frustrations from the day, because that was pretty much every day. And I felt so much better. And for me, I never at that point in time thought about coaching from a business standpoint. I had always thought about coaching as far as the discount, because I knew that there was like a 25% discount. I was like, if this is stuff I'm using, like, it would be stupid, in my opinion, not to get the discount, right, on something that I'm using and really enjoying and that I can feel, helping my body. So I always thought about it from a discount standpoint, but never from a business. And I just kind of, when I started having fun with T25, I just started, Kenzie, I got to be able to see the phone, okay? You got to stay on this side. Stay on this leg. She wants to be right here. I just kind of started posting how much fun I was having, and I would share like a little workout move of the day. Oh my gosh, this little choreographed sequence or whatever was so much fun. For any of you that have done T25, the speed workouts are my favorite, where it builds up into like a choreographed routine. Like I said, I was a dancer. So I would share stuff like that just on my social media, just because, like, for no reason other than I was having fun and I was excited about it, and that was it. And people started... Hi, Dizzy. People started asking me questions. What is this you're doing? Like, I can see that you're getting so much more energy and you actually look happy again, and like all this kind of stuff. And so I would talk to them about it, like when they'd ask. Turns out I started, talking to these people and just getting new customers naturally, just because I was sharing my energy and excitement for what was working for me. And that was how it all started. All at the same time, my coach, who was Emily Hawkins, well, she still is my coach, who's under Jamie, who you heard from yesterday morning. I see Emily posting, she's cracking me up. I see Emily posting on social media about coaching a little bit. And so I reached out to her. We were college friends. And I was like, okay, so what's this thing about? What's the deal with this? And so she's like, you so need a coach. You're already posting about it anyway. You might as well get the discount. I was like, all right, fine. Sign me up for the discount, whatever. I don't have time to coach though. I don't have time to do all this other business stuff on top of owning my practice, right? She's like, yeah, whatever. And so very quickly, she plugged me into our challenge groups, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are in. If not, you're going to be soon, and they're amazing. She plugged me into our team page, and I got to know all of these really amazing, supportive, positive women. And I know Jamie and Brooke both touched on that yesterday, and I think it's something that holds true for all of us. There's this community of people that I didn't know existed. And my life in vet med at the time, everything aside from those few puppy and kitten exams that were actually fun, everything was negative. Everything was stressful. Everything was death and dying. Nothing about it was fun. Nobody was positive. You know, everybody was upset all the time. Other vets that you talk to were always upset and mad and other words that I can't use because of her sitting right here. But we weren't fun people to be around because everything was pretty miserable in our lives typically. And so I never realized how much I needed just positivity, a positive environment of people in my life. And that made the biggest difference for me. And I still say, like, being around this group of people, hey baby, has just been the most amazing thing. And she's trying to sell this to you too. And it's something that, like I said, I never needed. And I think that is true for the vast majority of us, you know? Okay, switch to this leg, okay, babe? So, from that point forward, like I said, I got plugged into the team pages and I fell in love. I 100% fell in love. From my, posts that I was doing on social media just about T25, like I said, just simply for fun, because I was enjoying things. Wait, don't write on that page. Here, you can write on that page, in my planner. I was getting new customers, and I was getting about 3 new customers a month at a minimum. And that was with me just sharing my excitement, honestly, and reaching out and being willing to talk to those people. And it ended up earning me a free ticket to our yearly summit. And so I went just because, one, it was in Vegas. I wanted to go. I wanted to get away from my practice for a few days. And I wanted to kind of see what this was all about at that point. I was like, maybe there really is a business opportunity here. I mean, I'm pretty freaking miserable in vet med, so I wanted something else to do anyway. I just had no idea what that would be, I have a degree in animal science and veterinary medicine. I mean, like, what else do you do with that besides work with animals and be a vet, right? So I literally had no idea what else I would do. At the time, I also had started taking an online medical transcription course because I was like, well, maybe that can be my plan B. And yes, it'll be a massive pay cut, like in half. But maybe I would be happier. And at that point in time, being happier and being back at home and being able to do things that I wanted to do and live life as a happier person was more important than money, to be quite honest. And so anyway, I was taking that course, ended up finishing it. I've never, ever used it a day in my life. So I went to that summit. That was in July. I went to summit and actually learned about the business opportunity and met in person the people on my team. The only person that I knew from the past was Emily. I didn't know Jamie. I didn't know any of our upline, Christina, and all these amazing people. And to meet everybody in person, and they truly just welcomed me into their group with open arms. And it was like I had known them for years, simply from our challenge groups, from our team pages. And it was the coolest feeling, and I was like, man, it's really neat to see that these are real people. These are real women, mostly on our team, that have made this work. And they're just like me. Like, there's nothing seriously different about them. They're normal women that have a passion and that work hard to make this work for whatever reason it is, for their lives. Like Jamie kind of talked about our whys yesterday. A big part of mine was to get out of veterinary medicine. That's what I needed in my life. And another reason I wanted out of vet med was because the way my husband worked, he's in construction, so he's never home. And the way I worked, I was miserable and never home. I could never see this happening, right? Like I said, I'm a very practical, planned out, logical kind of person. And in my mind, kids were not an option with the way that our schedules were and the way that we worked. I'm the type of person who was like, look, if I'm going to have a child, I want to be the one raising that child. Yeah, I'm a control freak too. I'll just throw that out there. I am. I did not want to have a child and then have to send that kid to daycare all the time. That's my personal opinion, and I know that is not possible for so many people. And my solution was, I'm not having kids until that can happen and until I can be home with that child. And you're laughing at me because I said I'm a control freak, and you know it's true. So anyway, starting a family was a big part of it too. So I get home from that summit and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going all in. All at the same time, I had the opportunity to sell my practice, and I took a massive leap of faith, sold my practice, and went all in with coaching. That was in 2014. That was in 2014. So I hadn't been a coach very long, like 6 months or so at this point. Wasn't making a whole lot of money with coaching because I think I was probably a diamond coach by that point. I had money that came in from my practice sale, of course, and so that kind of sustained me as I built my coaching business. But what I did was then I busted my tail and worked really hard and built this business, and it skyrocketed in 2014, 2015. And I know Jamie was talking about income a little bit, and I'll do the same thing because for me, it's something that I wanted to know coming into this. Numbers like that motivated the heck out of me, and it's not to, brag at all about what I make or anything. I mean, it's not as much as Jamie, but I think it's important to know. So my first year as a coach my first full year as a coach, I made like $16,000. That was in 2014. That was the year I sold my practice. Okay. I made $16,000 coaching. But what I also did was after I sold that practice, so the second half of that year, like I said, I kicked coaching into high gear. And same thing all through 2015. And here's what happened in 2015. I made $52,000. That almost matched my veterinary salary. As a vet, I made $60,000. And that was me as a practice owner paying myself. That's just true numbers. So to me, in that amount of time, I almost matched my vet salary in a year and a half. And that salary took me 10, 15, whatever years to make, right? That's ridiculous. So to me, that was an amazing investment, an amazing opportunity, an amazing leap of faith that I just had to take for myself. Now, after that, 2015, got pregnant with this little munchkin. Time to start the family, right? She was born in December. Rocked it that year, hit elite that year. I know Jamie did too. We worked our tails off and our team grew, exponentially that year. After she was born, so in 2016, for those of you that have kids, going through the newborn phase, for me, it was really not easy and not fun, and she never slept. She literally never slept. So my business took a backseat, and honestly, it has taken a backseat to her ever since then, 2016, 17, and 18. But here's the thing. It has still grown. My income has still grown. In 2016, I think it jumped from like $52,000 in 15 to I think $70,000 in 2016. The next year it went up to like 75. Last year it went up to, I just did taxes, I think it was 82,000. That is working probably maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. Maybe. That's pushing it on some days. I didn't work at all, to be quite honest. Because she is my main focus. I'm here with her. I am one of those people that typically, when she's awake, I'm not on my phone. I'm not working. I work usually, maybe a little bit in the morning, usually not. I work at nap time and I work after she goes to bed. And that's it for the most part. And she's in preschool now like 2 mornings a week. And so I try to get a couple extra hours in then, like really focused time. But that's it. That's all that I work. And in those 3 years since she's been born, to know that my salary has maintained and gone up with me cutting my hours way down, that's amazing to me. And that is really important to me. And that's the importance of being on a team and building a team and working your tail off when you can And, knowing that there are times in life that maybe you won't be able to work super hard too. But if you've already built something up, it can be sustained without the effort that it took to get you there, basically. And I know Jamie kind of touched on that too. And I just feel like that is such a big point that I wanted to make as well, because I know that's just made a tremendous difference in my life. I'm not one of these people that I'm not aiming to make $1 million a year. Not right now anyway. Maybe after she's in school full time. But, it kind of goes with the different seasons of your life, and you can adjust as needed. And that's part of the beauty of this, is that it's flexible. You are the CEO. You are the owner of your business. You are in control. And you are in control of setting those goals and making them happen. And they might be different from year to year. And they might be different from my goals. They might be different from Brooke's and from Jamie's and from anybody else's. And that's okay, because it's your business. And this brings something different into each of our lives, and it means something different to each of us. For me, a big part of it is about freedom and about being in control and about being able to pick up and travel whenever I want to. I get bored staying in the same place for too long. I need to be going places, especially the beach. I get to pick this up and bring it with me, and that kind of stuff is most important to me. Okay, let me see what else I wanted to talk about. Kinsey has lost my page here. Okay, let's see. I did want to talk a little bit about the different stages of when I was building, and like how much time I spent. When I still was working as a vet, I literally probably put in 30 to 60 minutes a day, and that's it. That's all I had time for. And it was basically posting on social media, following up with people that engaged with that post, and posting in our challenge groups and our team page, and that was really about it. Being a little bit active and being supportive in there. That was all I had time for. I had time to take care of me and add a few clients each month. Then when I sold my practice and went all in with coaching, I treated it as my full-time job, and I for real worked, I'd say about 5 hours a day, 5 to 6 hours a day. So really not full-time hours, but it was very focused. I would go down in the office and I had my to-do list, and Jamie was talking yesterday too about, we thought it was really important to have systems in place, and that's when I really focused on making systems for my team, and that's when we collaborated on things like that. And so yeah, at that point, about 5 or 6 hours a day. I'd say 5-ish days a week, mostly. Sometimes 6, because my husband, like I said, works construction, and so he was gone on a lot of Saturdays, so I was like, whoa. And I didn't have her yet, so might as well work, right? And then once I had her, like I said, it went back down to some days none, some days a couple hours, and I'd say on average about 2, maybe 3 hours per day. So that's about kind of where it's been for the different stages. What else did I want to talk about? Income progression, I talked about that. And let's see. I guess the biggest thing is just, just how this has impacted my life and all of our lives, and how it can impact your life. And just dream big about it, set those goals high. Think about what it really is that you want out of life. For me, it was freedom. It was happiness. It was being able to be in control of my own schedule. And that's exactly what's happened. And 5.5 years in, it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made, because of how drastically it's changed my life. Like I said, I'm here with her now every day. We get to pick up and travel whenever we want to. And I do a lot of that, and a lot of it is these amazing trips and retreats and things that Beachbody sends us on. And I get to be my healthiest self. I get to, and we all get to, I think most importantly, focus on our own health and the health of our family. And we get to lead by being the example of health. And we get to help others do the same thing. And I gotta check the time. Wow, it's been 30 minutes. Holy moly. Another really important thing too for me is seeing the coaches under me, my coaches, do this same thing. I just had a coach this week that just retired from her regular, full-time day job, to be home with her daughter as well. And being a part of that, and knowing that you helped get her to that point and get your coaches to a better place in life where they want to be, it is like the most fulfilling thing. And it's just, you can't even hardly describe it. It just makes you feel so good to know that you are really contributing and really, truly helping people in all areas of their life. So I'm going to cut this off because I've talked way longer than I intended to. I hope you enjoyed watching Kinsey play with my notebook that now she is torn to pieces. And if you have any questions at all, just ask. Hopefully we will see you guys joining us on this amazing team. Get excited to live your best life, all right? Bye, guys.